You're listening to NTS 10, raising funds for the Global Food Banking Network. Please donate if you can.
Hi, you're still listening to the Patia's Fantasy World Takeover for NTS's 10-year anniversary. For the next hour, we are interviewing our talented friends and family, which include Isiah, Byrell The Great, LSDXOXO, Shygirl, Steve Lacy, and Telfar.
I don't really consider myself a real legend. I've been at the balls with the legendary children, and I've stamped myself with the legendary children. But I'm one of the top upcoming children.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fantasy World. We are here today live from Harlem, New York City. Legend in the Kiki ballroom scene. And legend to us here, friend to us at Patia's Fantasy World. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Byrell The Great.
What's going on? What's going on?
Yes. What's up, Miss B?
What's up, y'all, my baby?
You are very celebrated in your community. I always knew this, but like when I went to the OTA with you, I think that was 2019, I truly saw like just the magnitude and just how you can capture the crowd. Because I feel like in ballroom, like the DJ has like a specific job to do, but it didn't look like a job to you. It felt like more, okay, you love doing this. This is like, you know, your passion. When did you start DJing at the balls?
In 2012, my first ball was the Juicy Function, which is the Kiki scene house that I'm in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so after that, I just like kept DJing balls. Like everybody who was doing a ball would use me after, and now we're here.
Now we're here. I know you mentioned to me once when we were having dinner that you don't really like playing outside of New York City. Mm-hmm. Why not?
Yeah, I could DJ anywhere else, like any regular gig, but ballroom-wise, I prefer to DJ in New York. So New York is like the mecca of ballroom, like where it was created, you know, like the birthplace, and it's also like, if you want to be that girl, you got to go to New York and make your name. So like New York, we have a different standard than other states. And even other countries. Well, first of all, I don't like DJing in other countries at all. I probably would not take a gig for a ball in another country unless it's Paris or somewhere very black.
That was my next question.
Okay, so we can go back to that too. So yeah, so we have a different standard. So we make sure that like our sound equipment and everything like is set up. You know what I mean? It's not ever no flaky sound in New York. You've come in. You know, the sound was crazy, so...
Yeah, I've been to some of the balls over here, and it's a little bit bangy, but production level in y'all ballrooms is off the charts. It felt like Diana Ross was coming to perform that night.
Mind you, and that was just a regular night, so you could imagine, like, the main stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your favorite country to DJ in?
London, of course. Hands down, London. Okay. I've DJed there like a million times, and I would DJ there.
Shout out NTS.
Yeah, shout out NTS. I definitely DJ for NTS a million times when I first started going to London.
Yeah! I wanted to know how you started DJing and who you learned from, and how did Byrell The Great become The Great?
I just started DJing from like being home and like practicing because I love music so much. That's how it literally started. I just love music, like everything I've ever done in my life.
You had a CDJ in the house?
I had a controller. I didn't start CDJs until I went to Queen Beat. The person running Queen Beat was like, yeah, you can't be using these controllers and stuff. So I switched over to CDJs.
You've definitely, you solidify yourself as The Great. Imagine coming out of the gate and calling yourself The Great and then just being The Great.
Well, so the thing is, I got that name because I was working in another scene. And I was doing music for that scene. And
you want to talk about that scene?
Yeah, the dance scene. Like if you ever like Google like the dance scene of New York, like the underground dance scene, it's like this whole thing that happens here. It's like only in New York. And I was like doing mixes and making all like the mixes and stuff for that. That was why I started calling myself Byrell The Great. Then when I started DJing, I'm like, girl, well, I'm not dropping the name. This just has to come.
All of this skin. All of this skin, honey. All of this skin. All of this skin.
Well, I got a question for my friend Byrell, Miss Bean, I like to call her. So, it seems like a lot of people have been going through a lot of different losses throughout this pandemic and whatnot. And I've seen particularly a lot of loss in the ballroom community. How do you guys deal with that? And how do you think things are going to get back to, if not how they were, get back to everyone having a good time when the corona stuff chills out? Do you think it's going to go back to normal?
No, because so the thing is, like, death is like so normalized in the ballroom scene. Like, we literally lost somebody today, like a huge person today. No one who we have lost was COVID related. So just think of that. I don't know what it means to be like normal in the ballroom scene when it comes to death, because it's like people just die from AIDS, gun violence, like the person who died today, regular just fist fighting, or like you just never know. Some people being in jail and getting killed by the cops. Like everything that happens in the world happens in the ballroom scene like 10 times more, or seemingly. So I don't know. That's a tricky question to answer. Did I just make a sad moment? Oh my God, y'all just got so quiet.
No, we love it. We want the ups and downs.
We want the real, we want the reality. And you always tell it how it is. That's why I love you, because you ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing. You're gonna say exactly what's going on. But I think it's good that every time y'all are together, it's like a celebration.
Yeah, the ballroom scene, like people, they go through their stuff with other people, but it's always like family. Like the ballroom scene seems like the movie Soulful, but like on a gigantic scale. Like it's literally always feels like you're fighting with your family or something, or you're loving with your family, or you're sad with your family, or
it's family.
It's family.
It's chosen family.
Definitely.
Yeah, the concept of family, especially now, is just so like disjointed for a lot of people. So I think with you guys in the ballroom scene, it's like you always have each other, which is something I really, really love. Do we have any new music?
Oh,
I know the answer to this because I heard it, but
child, we have so much new music. I have even more.
What do we have in store for Byrell the Great?
We have an actual album coming out, because I'm not really like an EP girl. Like, of course I can do that, but I feel like every time I make projects, they always like albums and then get broken down into EPs, which I never put none of this shit out. Like I rarely ever put out my original music, but this time I'm doing it because I feel very, very comfortable. Like, I don't always feel like I was a music maker. I just felt like I was like a mixer and like a rearranger of music. But now I definitely feel like I'm a music maker. So yeah, she's coming back.
Barbara, I think they're gonna be mad at this one.
Also, Snack Time was excellent.
Thank you.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, Snack Time was fun.
Pressed was my favorite shit.
Work Pressed. I was actually like, me and Precious started working on that in 2018 when we first did My House. Like, if you ever hit a function and it'd be like, came to the Bowling Round 10, just me, my sister, and her friend. That was actually the My House theme song, like the full version. That's actually what that was. So I like took it off and kind of like cropped it and made a whole new thing. So yeah, Snack Time was fun. Me and Precious working together is always a headache, but I love her.
Do you love collaborating?
Yes and no. I mean, I do, because it's like, it makes the sound bigger when you use other people, but I also feel like I don't like working with many people because I like to work in a certain way.
Yeah. Who would you like to work with?
Who would I like to work with?
After this album is
out. Who I want to work with? Nobody. Honestly.
Whoa.
Whoa.
So me versus the internet is scraps. Right. So me versus the internet is scraps. Whoa.
But I'm already working with y'all, so that don't count.
Good save, sis.
I mean, y'all could also stream like a Moth Byrell the Great remix.
No, Byrell the Great is in rotation every day.
For real.
Hey everyone, we're back. It's me and Lena from Patia's Fantasy World. Woo-hoo. Yeah, we got a special guest today. Another special guest, actually, Steve. Lacy is in the building, Grammy nominated singer, songwriter, producer, guitarist. You're a guitarist, a bassist, icon. Welcome to the show, Steve.
I appreciate the kind words.
Whoa!
Thank you.
So, you started making music on an iPhone. How old were you when you started making music?
Like 16 going on 17, or maybe 15 going on 16. One of those. I don't remember. It was a blur.
What was your first thing that you made?
It's actually on YouTube somewhere. Like, I think somebody like took it off my Tumblr, but it's some like weird guitar beat thing.
It's some lo-fi shit.
Yeah, don't be shy.
I'm shy.
Why you shy? We want to see the progress. So you started making music on where? On like your computer? Or did you just jump into the iPhone thing like straight away?
Yeah, because I didn't have access to a Mac. And on the computer at home, I can just use FL. And the shit I was trying to make, like, I couldn't use FL. So I would only use a laptop at like the studio I was going to. But when I was at home, I was on the iPhone.
Right.
Yeah.
And you use the iRig. Shout out to iRig.
Yeah, the iRig, yeah.
That's an OG device.
I know.
When you transitioned out of making music on your phone to making music in a studio, was that like an easy transition for you?
I honestly just started working in studios like a couple months ago.
What?
Yeah, because I went from phone to my computer, but I was still making everything in my bedroom. But like now for my newest stuff, I'm like in the studio and starting to take it more serious, you know, like.
Right.
I think I just realized like I'm an artist like a couple months ago.
Right.
I was just like fucking around. I'm like, oh, you know, whatever.
Wait, what do you mean? You only realized that now?
Yeah, because I was like, I had this who cares mentality, and then I realized like maybe I'm the only one that doesn't care, and maybe I should care more.
Right.
Nobody thinking about you. About you. Why you so self-centered?
You're 22 years old. You work with Solange, Kendrick Lamar, Mac Miller. Obviously, you were part of the internet. That's when I first heard you. I love the internet. I saw you guys in 2017, I think.
Was it Afropunk or It's Raining?
I can't remember. It was a jazz festival or something.
Oh, Cape Town. Yes, I was there.
One of my friends gave you a cigarette. That's the only memory I have of that show. I was so I can't incriminate myself on here, so I'm just gonna shut up.
Oh yeah.
So you work with all these people. Who would you still like to work with?
Everybody.
I feel like I should have asked you who would you not work with.
No, that's too shady.
No, I don't think I have an artist that I've worked with that I would never work with them again. I think the thing about collaboration that's fun is like, I don't know, it's like sharing, you know, it's like you put this baby into the world and that's like special, you know, so I think a lot of my collaborations and even who I collaborate with, I try to maintain a relationship, you know, with these people and just check up and they check up on me and I don't know, it's just kind of like on some family shit, you know, so I think I work with everybody again.
Right.
We were asking the Twitter fans like what they would want to ask you, and a few of them were wondering if you would ever make a house album.
Yes.
Oh. I don't know. Maybe. That's our little
That's
secret.
what the people want. Ooh, okay.
Whoa,
That's our
are we getting an
little
exclusive?
secret.
That's what we banking on. Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. Just send me some beats.
We supposed to send you beats?
Exactly. Not a ball in your court, River.
Whoa. Okay.
You miss house. You supposed to be the rave princess.
I'm retiring. Okay, so aside from music, you're also like known as a style icon. I mean, like Lena mentioned earlier, you work for NTS, who is also our friend. Shout out Pierre.
Yes.
Also, I follow Fit Vomit. That is like one of my favorite accounts.
Thank you.
The Fit Finsta.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah, who do you draw like inspiration from with your style?
I really love Lada Volkova.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of my other style inspos are like from like movies, and I think some people say I look like Pootie Tang sometimes, but I fucking I love that movie. I love that movie. And I think it's like different seasons of certain designers. Like I like Balenciaga sometimes, and Kiko Kostadinov is one of my favorites, and I just like to mix all the fashions all together, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. But I just be throwing on random shit, so I don't really have like I don't have a mood board of like things that I want to get to. I just be like, how am I feeling today? And I think sometimes I'm like more basic, and sometimes like I feel like a video game character.
Yeah, and sometimes you trade with the pink Air Force Ones.
Yeah, sometimes I definitely trade with the pink Forces.
So we know you like getting tattoos. Every week I watch your story and I see a new tattoo and I'm like, whoa, how much space do you still have? What's your favorite tattoo?
I think maybe these two on my neck that goes up.
Oh shit.
Wait, what are those?
Goes up to my ear. Oh, but this is just audio, so I have to explain. It's the tattoo patterns on my neck from Brody Polinsky. I got them in Berlin a couple years ago.
Shout out Berlin.
In the middle of a tour with the internet, and it was a tough time. I feel like, yeah, if I'm in Berlin around like November, like a breakdown is bound to happen. Like it happened twice. Because then I got these like the year after, around the same time, and the same shit. I was just like spiraling
in Berlin.
I know.
Shit, I'm in Berlin in any month. That's a great
Low key, huh?
So you, I know something we have in common is we're both Barbs. Shout out Nicki Minaj. Nicki, if you're listening to this, can you do an interview with us? Thank you. We can't afford you, but we really want you on the show. What is your favorite Nicki Minaj song? And which one would you cover?
Okay, I would never cover a Nicki song.
Why not?
I think some songs are like just meant for certain people to have theirs. And like, for instance, like there's like artists that I love that I will never collaborate with because I'm like, our worlds don't need to touch. I can just be like a fan.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I feel the same about Nicki shit. I'm like, nah, that's just that, you know. But I think, let me think though. Yeah, because the rapping part I can't do. If she did a whole singing song, because I would say like, Your Love, but I'm
knew
not
you was gonna say
part.
that.
Yeah, I love Your Love. That one always had a special place.
A Blasian anthem.
Yeah, y'all ever had Blasian food?
Yeah, you talking to a Blasian right now.
Oh.
All the Blasians in the house.
It's this Blasian restaurant I go to in the city that's like bomb.
Blasian restaurant?
No, I'm fucking with you.
Oh, no.
I never heard this.
Oh, no. Hell no.
It's
What kind
coming
of food is
soon
that?
to watch.
What
It's
kind
coming
of food
soon,
is that?
watch.
Is that like
Whatever
soul
you was
food
cooking
mixed
during
with, like-
quarantine that looked crazy. You was putting on for your people.
First off, my food look good. When I come to LA, I'ma cook for you, Steve.
What you gonna cook me?
Lena, what's my specialty dish?
Them carrots and that spaghetti that you was making look great. Look delicious.
Oh,
Dinner party.
maybe I might order us something, River.
Wow. Thank you, Steve.
Yo,
Thank you so
thank you
much.
guys. It was an honor.
Thank you.
That was Steve Lacy, and we're out.
Meet me outside of my palace. Don't need no approval, girl, you valid. Let's make out right by my violence. Don't watch me do it, close your eyelids. Inside, tell me is it inside? Inside, tell me is it inside? My darling, inside, tell me is it inside? Inside, tell me is it
Welcome back to Patia's Fantasy World. It's me, River.
It's me, Lena, and today we're here with our homegirl, Miss Shygirl. We're so excited to have you.
Happy to be here.
Shygirl, tell the girls where you at.
I am actually in an undisclosed location because I can't reveal.
Shygirl live from the bunker today.
We know.
If you know, you know. That's it.
Period.
The way I got you on the run, I hear you say let's fuck all night. Feeling something better, I might fuck her if I'm feeling tight, right? Got me feeling something, then I need to get that itch scrap. Turn around and get to packing, yeah. When I bad bitches always have to keep their hands wet. We're too slick, I like to glide. Look and skate on a bitch.
You just released Alias EP last year. In the midst of COVID-19. How did it feel to like release an EP you can't tour? Because I've never been to the Shygirl show yet because I'm stuck all the way over here, but how did it feel to release an EP that you couldn't perform live?
It was fun because like I just had so much time to focus on building the world around it. So I feel like now when shows do finally come, like everyone knows what it should be giving and comes with like the correct energy.
Right.
I'm into delayed gratification, so
Right.
I think it's perfect.
Did you find the jump from Cruel Practice to Alias difficult? Because I feel like those two, correct me if I'm wrong, are like worlds apart. They're like two different people.
I feel like with like Cruel Practice, that was the first project I'd ever made, like the first time I'd ever worked on music like at all. So like a lot of it was really instinctual and like responsive, and you know, like just figuring out the immediate like limitations or like what was possible for me creatively, like with this like new medium, because I'd really never like made music before. And then I took like a break after that. Like I went away, like I left London for a few months and I was living in the Caribbean, and I had like time to like reflect and like see what I wanted to do musically. And so like the next approach was like way more considered, and I think kind of truer to my like compulsions, I guess, with music, because there's stuff in there that's inspired by my history as a listener, you know, someone who listened to loads of like underground stuff from when I was like really, really young and didn't even have a clue like what the club was giving. So I wanted to kind of feed that into my own practice musically. And I think I did that a little bit better. Like they're definitely like two worlds, but there's a link between them. And I definitely feel like there's undertones of the narrative that was going on in cool practice. But I was like way more angsty at that point as well. I was like going through some shit. And then by the time I was making Alias, I was like way happier.
You're just so damn rude.
Since then, I think it's been nicer to kind of include both vibes in the new music I've been making now.
Ooh, can you talk about that at all?
So we're getting new music, okay?
Yeah.
Well, like in lockdown, like I wasn't just working on the creative for Alias. I've been making like so much stuff. Like I felt really inspired, and even as you're working on the creative side, like visually, it's so easy to just like have experiences that provoke more music. And I was really lucky that I, you know, had loads of producers I was working really closely with already, and we were working over Zoom. And I don't know, I just had shit to say because I was sitting with myself in my house.
Right.
And like, luckily I was like entertaining because I was like turning over so much stuff in my head. Like, and also like I found it really funny how, you know, how people were interacting with each other during that time. And it just gave me like a hopefulness, I guess, about the world I was entering into afterwards and the kind of soundtrack I needed for that. So yeah, I continued making future hits.
We're excited for that.
She only wants a good time, nice things, long nights, riding in your first club bus to the city lights.
Well, I have a question. I've been seeing a lot of the Twitter drama going on. And it seems like there's some people mad at you. I'm not really seeing why, but the whole NFT conversation, it just seems like it's been a lot and people are like trying to like...
I think firstly, like the nuances of humor are lost online. Like
100%.
People take things like way too seriously.
Definitely.
And it's like I'm able to have like serious conversations, but like if I don't know you and I don't really care about your opinion, then you're not gonna get a serious conversation from me because that's like exhausting. Like I'm not trying to be serious like all the time. I can hear what you're saying and I can like take some of that in, but you're not going to get a serious response from me. Like it's quite rare, but I do think like people take what I say like literally, which is bizarre because like why would you read on the internet like everything as literal? It's crazy.
Definitely. That like 160 characters is not a real great way to like show how you're like really feeling.
Also, at the end of the day, when you already know that regardless of what you say, like people are gonna read it in their own way, so it's like what's the point of me being genuine all the time online? Like I'm looking for escapism, I'm not looking for reality. Like every so often you'll get like something, but actually like you're not owed anything from me online. Like it shouldn't be expected. I just find the relationship between a lot of so-called fans, and I say that because like people would say they're fans but they're actually like not very nice.
There's a thin line between a fan and a hater, and I feel like they try to have such a sense of over-familiarity with you.
Totally. And like I don't even have that in my like personal life now, so like I don't know why I would extend that to people I don't know at all. You know, I'm quite protective of my boundaries because I know like what keeps me sane and level, and like I'm not gonna like pull those boundaries down just because someone like listens to my music. Like
right. And not to be rude on the radio, but I seen white bitches doing the NFT shit and none of these motherfuckers was saying nothing about that.
I don't know, some people are easier and more approachable than others, and some people feel that they have a right to others more than like, you know, I do find it funny how people want to speak to me and they don't want to be talking to like some other white woman or whatever that's making NFTs, or like, you know, at the end of the day, like, I know what I'm doing. I didn't even care about the money, to be honest. I haven't even like made an account for the Ethereum. I was just like doing something for fun, just so I could learn more about it. And in the process, I have learned more about it. And, you know, that I probably will make an NFT in the future. And there's other ways to do it as well. There's ways to offset your carbon footprint, not just in the process of making the NFT, but also I could do it for how I live in my actual life, which like has way more of an impact. Like, I'm catching flights all the time. I don't recycle every day. Like, you know, there's ways in which I can improve in my lifestyle, but I'm not going to pretend I'm like an environmentalist online when I'm not. People, you know, they want to hold you to a higher standard than they would even hold themselves.
Definitely, because these be people that get an Amazon package every day. And it's like...
That was like the highlight of my time in lockdown, you know, when I was getting like some Amazon packages.
Oh my God, yes. I remember when you were doing nails.
How do you feel about returning to the stage after, I don't know when your last performance was?
I mean, the last headline show I had was in March last year in London, and it was literally like the last day, like before lockdown like happened, and we didn't even know if it was gonna be able to go forward. Like, even that day they were like, oh, they might shut all the venues from like 6 p.m. and I was like, okay, well, I'm about to have an illegal party then, because the show is not gonna stop. But yeah, no, and it was such a good show. Like, it was nice to be able to, you know, curate the whole thing and like do the set design and like plan everything, and then, you know, like it felt like a perfect moment, and I was really happy to like meet everyone, and like the energy was sick, and then like literally next day that was it. We were like locked in, and I just lived off the high of that for a while. But I think this break has really given me new energy to like invest time in the shows and make it something that's like, I don't know, like unique to the experience of my music, you know, like.
Right. What could the girls expect?
Well, I don't want to give too much away, but but I do think, you know, if you think about where my music sits and it's kind of like in its own lane, I think that's what the show should give also, you know. It should be something that feels like a unique experience and also feels true to like me, you know. I don't like just to go on stage and like give you the music and that's that. Like, this is something in its own thing, you know. And if you go to the shows, you're going to have an experience that you're going to be thinking about for a long time.
She only wants a good time, nice things, long nights, riding in your fast car, bus to the city lights. You know she's not good for you, you just ain't got the speed. You're just trying to keep it cool, and she only brings the heat.
All right, you're here with Patia's Fantasy World. We're here for the NTS 10th anniversary. We are interviewing right now my good sister Ian Isiah, aka Sugar.
Hola.
Hey, Ian.
Wagwan.
Hey. Okay, Mr. International.
I have faux locks, so I'm gonna say Wagwan. How y'all doing today?
We want some oxtail.
No. We don't eat meat. No, ma'am. We don't eat meat.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
We gonna ask you about the veganism.
I'm glad you could make it today.
I'm glad to be here. You know, God is good.
God is
every day. So, a lot of people know about you, Ian, because of Hood by Air, correct?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
So, I just want to know, because I don't really ever do business. Y'all is just my friends. How is it working with friends and having like a work, family, business relationship? Do you think it's difficult?
Of course it's difficult, but you make masterpieces in the end. You know, I'd rather work with my friends than work with random white people.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful to be able to do what I only know how to do with my friends. So it just makes sense. I'm all about what makes sense. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sense these days. You know, a lot of people don't make sense.
Yeah, a lot of these girls is talking nonsense.
It's a nonsense era. This is a nonsense era.
It is a nonsense era. They even wrote an article about that.
And that's crazy.
We won't get into that.
So we consider you to be an honorary auntie. I think you're actually a real auntie as well.
I'm that age. I'm that old.
You're the one with the album called Auntie, which everyone should be listening to.
It was a tribute. Yeah, go listen to that new Auntie, please. Everybody, it's out. It's lit. Old vibes, Auntie.
Exactly.
You know the vibes.
So who do you think is an auntie, dead or alive, that you would have liked to work with if they're dead?
Patty, the only one that's still living. Everybody else is gone that I love. Don't love nobody new. They don't know what they doing.
Oh, wow.
Patty, since she the only one alive, for sure. Brandy, for sure. Elena, you better not say one word. Mother B, for sure. Oprah, for sure. I'm running out of people from the 90s, but everybody knew I love to.
What you doing with Oprah?
Right, I don't know what y'all would do together.
I talk in dreams, honey. You got to get with me. I talk in dreams.
Oh, what's the dead aunties you will work with? Let's say departed aunties. Not dead, sorry.
Damn, I'm in a bad spot. Y'all lucky. Because in the bedroom, there's a whole wall of them.
Who you got in the bedroom?
In my bedroom, there's a whole wall of all the dead aunties. Aretha. Who else? Why they gotta be so dead? I'm tired of talking about the dead today. Like DMX
we just talked about a living woman.
All right, well, let's talk about reasons to live. Let's talk about how I think you're one of the most religious and spiritual people I may know.
Oh my God, that's offensive. That's offensive because I'm gonna just go ahead and cut you up there because that's offensive. I grew up religious and had an issue with it, and now I am only a relationship person with God. So I have a relationship with God. I don't have a religion, but I'm gonna go ahead and just school you on that quick. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in religion, but now I have relationship. So we're gonna split that up because it's a difference. I'm a church boy because that's how I grew up. History book in church, sure, but a relationship in God. You hear me?
And that's why I talked about the spirituality. But anyways, I just feel like do you think it's difficult being in the music scene that you're in and having this faith? Because I feel like there might be a lot of musicians around you that may not have the same belief system.
That's true. And I had to learn what that means. But then I also had to learn that music is a universal language, yes. And it shows difference, for sure, growing up with just church musicians, for sure. And usually wherever I go, after the artist, all her backing is church musicians anyway, so I still feel connected. I'm fine. Wherever you go, you still gonna find us somewhere playing with y'all. Whoever, whatever kind of genre it is, you still gonna find us playing with y'all. But I feel like spirituality, God is God. I don't deny God. I bring him with me everywhere I go. They gonna get with it or not get with it. And the other artist is either the same or not. I have never clashed with somebody that's like, I've never clashed with like an atheist. Like clash with an atheist. Like we've talked, we've kikied, but there's never been like a clash thing because, we got the music to keep us all like cute.
That's true. I feel like people would know better than to start an argument with you.
I know better to start an argument with myself. Because I'm only scared of two people, God and my mother. You heard me?
Miss Jackie.
Miss Jackie. Yeah. What's up? Elena, going through questions, don't know what to ask.
Girl, because I already know your ass. Like, what more do I need to know?
Me like we don't know each other.
Exactly.
Should I ask questions? let me ask questions. So Patia Fantasy World, you know,
Oh
y'all
wait, I didn't think that was you saying that. I don't want no questions from you, no ma'am. I think Rose should ask.
Because I could get Gail real quick.
We've already had our interview. We good.
You like that porcelain doll? Shorty, you know what you are. All the fancy restaurants, main course, baby, you that 5-star. And that pussy so amazing, got me thinking you the one. All my niggas so jealous, cause I'm the one that's having fun with an angel falling from the sky above. Fuck the club, shorty, when that's not enough. I could do this till the sun comes up. I could do this till the sun comes up. I need that 24/7. That's 24. That's 24. 24/7. 24/7.
Let me adorn you.
Good evening, everyone. We're here with, I'm probably gonna say, my favorite DJ, my good sister LSDXOXO, rocking with Patia's Fantasy World for the NTS 10th anniversary. Welcome to the show, LSD.
What's poppin', peoples?
Nothing but a pimple, girl. So I remember back in the day, your songs were very popular on Tumblr. So what made you start getting into producing and then transitioning from like production to being a recording artist, that whole journey?
So for me, like when I started producing, it was just because I didn't really hear anything like what I really was into in terms of influence. Like all of my influences come from so many different places that for me, there was not really one specific genre or artist who really made music that like resonated with me in that way. So I started making music to sort of just like please my own ear and like hear what I wasn't hearing already. And so I started making like mixtapes and releasing them on Tumblr to my like few followers, and I amassed, you know, a bit of a following there. And from there, you know, I went to SoundCloud and became a SoundCloud producer. I was really nervous to become a recording artist because I've always just been super introverted. But I think moving to Berlin and sort of just seeing how, you know, everyone was really captivated with what I did, it really helped me to, you know, become confident in myself, not only as an artist, but as a person. And that gave me the fuel that I needed to become a recording artist, etc.
Now, before you dropped the new single, which we will get into later, you dropped the Waiting to Exhale mixtape, and that was like kind of like the first taste we got of recording artist LSDXOXO instead of like just producer LSDXOXO. How did it feel like the moment right before you dropped that onto the world, and what has the reception been since?
I mean, it was like you said, it was my first project, like my first like, you know, outing as a recording whatever. And I like days before that, I was just like so nervous that I could barely sleep, even though it was really a mixtape and it wasn't something that I was releasing that, you know, was like a physical release, but I was still nervous just to have that out there and to see what people's reception would be of it, because like it was something so new. And also, I mean, it still sounds a lot like my older stuff, but like to be in the forefront and not just kind of behind the decks and like, you know, hiding behind my production and other artists, it was really nerve-wracking for me to sort of like put my own narrative in the front. But the reception for me overall has been very positive.
Right. Do you feel liberated now?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I could do anything with my craft now. Now that I've kind of like breaking, you know, those barriers, like I'm like, whatever, I'll just do anything.
So you're from Philly, went to New York, went to Berlin, and I think that we see like different changes in your music based on your location. So how do you think moving to Europe has really affected like your sound?
Yeah, so basically, like, people say kids are sponges. I feel like I'm a musical sponge. Like, for me, a lot of my artistry comes from kind of like just like usurping a lot of the things that I'm surrounded by and putting them through my own filter. So I feel like wherever I'm at, I really just kind of like draw a lot of influence from the locals and the culture and the scene and stuff like that. So like when I'm in Philly, my music is very like, you know, dance and Baltimore club and all that. When I'm in New York, it's very eclectic because New York is a, you know, hodgepodge of cultures and influences. And here in Europe, I feel like a lot of my music has sort of become like techno driven or like, you know, house music driven, and that's sort of like, you know, a big part of, you know, my artistry, just kind of like taking things and putting them through the LSDXOXO filter.
If only I can get through this.
When you get back to performing on stage, are you more excited to be behind the mic or behind the decks?
I mean, I've been like halfway joking saying lately that I'm an ex-DJ. So like for me, I'm for sure way more excited to get back, you know, performing, because like this is something that I've been practicing in the last few months, but it's not something that I've been able to present to my fans yet. And so that's for sure what I'm excited to do, my next step in my journey as an artist. But I mean, I'm excited to get to every part of performing.
Right, let's talk about Dedicated to Disrespect. So this has probably been in my ears for the last year. I don't know when you sent me this EP, but it's been in my ears on repeat since then. It's new to the world, but
right.
What was that process like? It's only 4 tracks, but like, what was that recording those songs?
So like when I started making it, I was like initially working on my album, which I'm just finishing up now. My album is like a completely different lane from Dedicated to Disrespect. It's very like, you know, pop music and like wordy, and like it's a lot more personal basically than the music that's featured on Dedicated to Disrespect. And so this project, XL kind of approached me and they asked me to make like a dance music EP for them. And so for me, it was a nice departure from what I was working on at the time, because I was able to just sort of have fun with it and not be so, you know, in my head about what the narrative was and what I was writing, because I was like really like focused on, you know, becoming a songwriter at the time. And so for these songs, I wanted to just make music that was kind of stupid and, you know, felt like nursery rhymes, and kind of put them on top of like really like ghetto house and like techno beats. And so for me, it was kind of like my way to make like some techno pop.
And it's very fun for the girls all around the world, especially the Sick Bitches. Is that your fan base name now?
I mean, I don't know. I'm waiting for them to come up with their own name.
I'm a sick bitch. I like freak sex. If you want to test the limits of my gag reflex, if you want to put the work, you gotta go berserk. Gotta make it hurt if you want to make it squirt.
Well, we saw Hot Girl Summer 2 years ago. We saw Quarantine Carrie Summer last year. But I think this summer is the summer of the sick bitch.
I mean, I didn't say it, you did.
Boom.
I'm into it though.
The anticipation for Sick Bitch was crazy. I think there's been so many different like leaked versions online, just like people begging. They even begged me to like DM you and ask you to send the song around. I was like, no, you niggas are crazy. I'm not gonna do that.
Well, thank you for that, because I would have been issuing you a nasty NDA.
No, I'm not like some of these girls, okay? We cut from a different napkin.
Right.
But now that Sick Bitch is out, what's next for Dedicated to Disrespect era?
And so the next single is called The Devil.
Woo.
It's kind of on trend with what everybody's talking about now with the whole Lil Nas thing. So I'm waiting to see what the reception on that is going to be.
It's much nastier.
Y'all have both heard the song, so I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
I have to say that one is actually my favorite.
So yeah, that's the next step. I'm really excited. I think she's my favorite one too. It was the first track I wrote, and she's very cheeky.
I wanted to ask you, so you work with Miss Boogie, Cakes the Killer, Big Mama,
Kalela.
Yes, Kalela. How could we forget Kalela? Shygirl.
I've worked with all the iconic tops, honey.
That's all the tops. Exactly. Who would you still like to work with?
No, I have some really good features on the album, actually. I won't say anything about those. But so moving forward, I think some of the people who I really want to work with are people who I've been listening to since I was a kid, like Kylie Minogue, Roisin Murphy.
I knew you were going to say that.
The producer from D-Light is somebody who I really wanted to work with, Toate. I mean, of course, I want to work with Arca still. That might, I'm sure that'll happen eventually. The girls got to get together.
We have one more question. Who you got in a fight? Me, Lena, or Patia?
In a fight? I mean, Elena is from Detroit, honey. I think all my money will be on her.
Hey, what's goody, y'all? You're here with Patia.
Love the bath towel.
Don't tell them about my outfit right now.
Right. This radio had eyes.
So you're here with Patia's Fantasy World. We're doing the NTS 10th anniversary. We're doing our last interview now with Telfar Clemens. Thank you for doing the show today, Telfar. We're glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
What were you like in high school, and how did you develop your personal style?
What was I like in high school? Yeah. I guess the same as now. I had the same job. I got paid less. I don't know. I was pretty chill, I guess, and ambitious, I guess, if that's a thing that teenagers aren't. But I don't know. I was making my line, or wanted to make my line at 15, so I used to just make clothes for people at school and friends and family members, and they'll pay me $20 to rip their jeans or rip a t-shirt up into a certain way that I was wearing it. So I made friends based on how I dressed, or didn't make friends based on how I was dressed. It was usually a thing that was oh, what the fuck, and then what the fuck, can you make me one kind of thing. I think I'm kind of a loner. I don't know. It's people would be oh, nice shoes, and that's my friend, or but I definitely when I became I don't know, 17, 18, on my own, I met friends that from front to back are still my friends today, that appreciate me for more than what you offer them. Influential and smart and funny and cool. And
are those the people who influence how you make and create?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I always start with making stuff for me, and then there's just so much more to me. It's your crew too, it's that person, and then that's this person, and so definitely, it's a bigger consideration in terms of when I'm making something, I'm oh yeah, everybody is in that thing, that's when I know I have something. There's when everybody is into it, all ages, all sizes, everybody, I'm okay, that's a hit, let's do it.
Because it's not for you, it's for
everybody.
Exactly.
Somebody, someone.
Not you not knowing.
No one.
Shit.
Me? Your mom?
How do you keep yourself grounded in your artistry and overall personhood?
I mean, I still live at home. You see? No, I everything that my brand is based off of is kind of things that aren't about being, like out of your head. I would say it's like in a good way, but not. I wouldn't say I'm attracted to people that aren't grounded in a certain way.
People have to have like a sense of like living in a dream world, kind of in a fantasy world.
Well, I mean, I live in my world definitely, and my world might not agree with a lot of other people's world. So but I know what their world is, and they know what mine is, or they might not know. But I think it's the knowledge of both things that is super important. How to be headless and have your head on at the same time.
Be balanced. I had a question about like the music for the shows. How does the selection process for the music go?
I think also too, that's like really a hangout process. Like you've been there, you've been to a bunch of shows and it's like, yeah, I would love you to come and DJ and then also just meet someone else from somewhere else that we all are like, oh yeah, that person's cool. And like, do you want to make a song with this person? And like, really just getting people out of their comfort zone and then into like a new space where new things can happen. Or, like just having a twist on things. It's like, I was just listening to the music from like 2015, like a show that Nathan Whipple, he played every top 40 song from that year of 2015 on like a piano, or the good ones, and it was just like that also too, it's just like, it's definitely a collaboration each time between me, Bobak, and like our friends, and people that we also don't know, that we just like kind of know through the internet, that we're like, oh, we want to do something with this person and this person should meet our crew. And, either it works or it doesn't, because there's like such a short amount of time. So it's like, it's like really funny to have it both ways, where it's just like, that's completely a thing that would have never happened if we didn't introduce these people. And sometimes it like turns into more than that. Sometimes it's just for that. Very fluid in terms of like involvement. I think definitely there's always like a mix of people that are vibing, and that's what creates like kind of the vibe.
I like that. It creates like a web almost that connects different people. Speaking of inspirations, are there any like music videos you grew up watching that have inspired your own work?
Every music video. After school, like basically I was watching BET, MTV, tape recording the videos that I liked, like everything, Timbaland, Missy, Hype Williams. So many music producers that made things in my childhood. I mean, that's where you get a lot of like, how you are and what you have a point of reference from, in what you wear. Hype Williams definitely was a major influence. Mr. X, like all they would change their names sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I recorded every video that was interesting to me, but definitely the Hype Williams ones were like world premiere. You wait up all night to like, see this music video.
I want to know if you guys would ever think about venturing outside of like clothes and bags and accessories. Like, are we gonna?
What are you talking about? I've left fashion already. I've already left.
Are we gonna see like Telfar like?
I don't sell at any stores. I only sell at my store, and I'm only on my channel, or I'm not doing fashion weeks. Right now we're really living in the world and doing things that you like everybody sees. It's not just a fashion thing. It's like bigger than that in a way. It's more important in a way to be outside of it than in it as a fashion designer or a fashion company, because it's like, how we've been working is different than that. It's like I've always been outside of it. It is like when we were in it, I think, we were like, going to Europe over like the past 2 years and being able to travel and do all of that is great. But when you start to just see the same thing and the same people in the same place is that fashion or just down the street? I get more inspired in places that have nothing to do with fashion.
So did you pick up a lot of inspiration on your last trip? Because you were just...
Oh my God. I misremembered my childhood so much. And it was just so refreshing and restoring to see and hear the things and the way how I used to speak and what my parents used to do and places that my parents and grandparents used to live. And I learned a lot more about myself. It's Africa is way ahead in so many, exactly. I mean, it's always been ahead, but in a way it's I can't describe it, I can't describe it. I can't describe it. Yeah, it's just really it's everything that I wanted, and it's a lot of things that could be a lot of new things, just being on that side of the world is it completed my actual world. You know what I mean? It's definitely I feel a lot more complete in terms of what I am and why I am and how it is.
I get that. Yeah, we love Africa.
It puts everything into perspective in terms of where I come from and why I'm here and in the place that I'm at and what it means to do that and going back there and meeting people and seeing people that I grew up with. It was big.
So I promised I was not going to ask anything related to the bag, but
why not? There's new bags coming. That's That's cool news.
I'll get that.
Yeah. New bags, new shoes, different colors, new shapes, new sizes. Yeah, I mean, right now I'm working on a whole array of things that you'll be seeing in an array of different ways. You'll be seeing it in your daily life. Your life is going to be the fashion show.
You're listening to NTS 10, raising funds for the Global Food Banking Network. Please donate if you can.